on a different stream.
I can go to YouTube and see what I see.
Hey guys, we are live. We couldn't get the other stream to work. So maybe you can comment on that stream and just say that we're over here on a different stream.
Okay.
And we'll see.
Hi guys, we are on.
Looks like people are coming on now.
Different stream.
Someone says aloha.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. There's some people on. This seems like it's working. Yo, let's go. I know. We don't have much time.
I know we're like
we wasted 5 minutes
we only have 55
of everybody's life, including our own.
Indeed.
Unredeemable minutes wasted.
I know, right?
Yeah. So we got to jam in.
I didn't spend those minutes
extra time.
gaming.
Oh,
today,
wait.
that's for sure.
Let's light ourselves.
Yeah.
That looks better.
Way better like that.
Yeah.
That's the most time.
This is how the models light themselves. Someone said that we were doing our makeup, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Pretty funny.
Yeah. Ha ha.
Someone else thinks that I dye my hair, which really bugs me.
By the way, I'm not stoned in those videos. I'm just happy.
Yes, he is not stoned. I thought he was stoned in the Alaska video.
Yeah. No, I wasn't. I was just happy, man.
Yeah.
But Joy and Stone look the same.
It's the same. It's the release of the same kind of neurochemicals that you hack with drugs.
Yeah.
You can get out of
just being happy,
having a really good ride.
Especially with a good friend.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Wow, look at all these y'all murdering thirst over there. Yes, we are. Let's get some of this going.
Nice.
Happen to have that hat ready to go. Hello. Woke up live, no regrets.
Nice, dude. Cool.
North Carolina's on.
New Zealand.
Australia. Good day, mate. Oh,
Yep.
man, that was probably terrible. I'm sorry.
I'm not going to even try it.
I tried to do a German accent.
We got a couple of New Zealand's going
Greetings
on.
from Germany. There we go.
Yeah, we're global. Bro.
Brazil.
We're huge in
What?
Brazil. Yeah, Spain,
Berlin,
Whoa.
Michigan.
Cincinnati's very exotic.
The Upper Peninsula of Michigan, perhaps.
The UP.
Cincinnati.
The UP.
The UP. Which is very cool.
Alberta, Texas,
Ohio,
Argentina. Oh yeah. Man.
We're just gonna read. We
can just read this. We only have.
Look at how good we are.
We only have 52 minutes more to blow. We can do this.
I didn't know there was a veil. Thank you.
Wow.
What?
Thank you so much.
I really appreciate that.
We got paid in Russian.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, feeling it.
Boston. Oh, Boston. That's funny.
Asheville.
Banff. Saskatchewan.
Say
Jersey,
that.
bro. 36. Bought my first BMX 20 years. Yeah. Nice. Australia. Hollister.
Seattle. Southern California.
We used to ride moto at that park.
Really?
Mm-hmm. We used to race downhill at that same park too at Hollister Hills. Yep.
That's cool. Oh, 30 minutes from Ray's Indoor. I want to go there so bad. Like, I plan to get in the camper and just do a tour of places this summer, and it didn't work out. But I don't know.
Ray's would be good.
I may still have to do that. I'll do it in the winter. Yeah, or like shoulder season.
I got to do the race in Milwaukee. It was really fun. It was really good. Costa Rica. Yeah, actually, I'm
76,000 feet of descending. What?
Wow. From Big Bear.
That's a lot of runs.
I grew up around there.
Yeah.
Back in the day. That was the place for downhill.
A lot of runs.
South Florida.
Australia.
Sydney.
South Florida. That's where I'm from. The old stomping grounds. The family was just down in Miami. Everybody was down there.
Yeah.
Having paella. Yeah.
Place is rad. We used to do downhill race too, like I said.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Bruise Brothers. Well, we're not Bruise Brothers now. I'll start off by showing that I have recovered.
Yeah, that bruise is gone. Man.
So,
just like 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, you have good healing power, sir. Hiya.
It's good to feel like you can heal.
If you know you're going to heal, then it's not such a stress.
Well, I hear people all the time as they get older saying, I don't heal like I used to. I'm 57, and I like took care of business on that thing.
You heal like crazy.
That feels good.
Do you use supplements or just God's love?
I have some stuff, but nothing that I would call a supplement. More like what's this stuff? You guys do this?
Some people use arnica, stuff like that.
I know. I did arnica. and some other.
Lion's mane.
The lion's mane. Yeah, this stuff. I don't know what this is, but I mix it in water and I drink it, and it feels like it connects me with the universe. It feels like you're getting plugged into something.
That's worth doing.
And if it's placebo, I'm totally fine with that. I would pay.
I'm a huge believer
twice as much.
Placebos. Like when you move that one rock out of the way, and I was able to get the climb.
Oh, John Bielenberg. Hello.
You know that guy?
Yeah. Know that guy really well. Ha. Funny to meet here, John. Conventional longer is stable. Oh. Max torque. Are they this is like a great question. I don't know if I want to get into it yet. Maybe we can put a pin in it, and it's either next time we go live. But yesterday I spent all day doing shuttle runs on the medium and the small Revel Rascal, back and forth. So all day. And I tried never to get used to one. So it was like one run on the small, one run on the medium, small, medium, small, medium.
Awesome. Like so few people have the opportunity to do that.
I don't think anyone's ever done a test like this where it's the same bike, same tires, same forks, like everything's the same.
Great.
Same tire pressure, same shock pressure, same damping, everything as similar as we could get it. The only difference being 20 millimeters
of the reach.
And whatever the stack difference is, which I need to look up, but I don't know if there is.
Not much.
No.
It's like 10 probably.
Maybe. Yeah. So this much. And it is like two different bikes. And the biggest epiphany for me that I'll just say right now is when I watch bike reviews, or they have those big bike Bible reviews, right? And they're just testing everything. And they talk about this bike's nimble, this bike's, point and shoot, this bike. Man, it made me really wonder because
like what size are they on?
What size are they on, and what size is that person?
Totally.
Like it's
and
all
also
I want to know.
Suspension setup too. Like so much of that stuff's variable.
But if this person and this bike come together in a certain way, that's going to be nimble. Like the bike feels really nimble, super nimble, and then it feels kind of point and shoot with that much difference.
Totally. And a smaller person would be on your nimble bike saying. It feels
point and shoot. Yeah.
Right.
A lot of really interesting things I'm still digesting during the day. We all agreed not to look at any time. So we timed all the runs and we agreed not to share any of those times. So we stayed blind throughout the whole test to try to not have any notions about what was really happening.
Right.
So now I'm going to download all that data. That'll be next week's video, next Thursday. Will be me deciding on which bike I'm going to keep. I really don't know.
Crazy.
I know. I really don't know. Both are great. And I like riding both a lot, which makes sense because it's this much difference.
It's not like people who are healthy enough that it doesn't hurt. Like you can enjoy it.
No, right. I have enough strength that I could bunny hop both bikes equally well, actually.
Good.
But it's not like we're talking about, there's people on bikes that are that 90 millimeters too long.
Or like 60, 70. That gets to be very untenable.
This is like rad and rad plus.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, because we decided that 20 mil is like a reasonable rad plus.
Yeah. I am 5'9". I am 5'9". I miss you too, John. I really do. You got to come out and ride bikes soon. So give them a like. Yes, likes really help.
MTB is 59. He's hitting a wall with his fitness. He can't get fitter. Is that typical? Doesn't have to be. Like you have to, like when you're 59, you have to train differently than when you're 49, 39. For the most part, for most people, it's about using the least effective dose of exercise, of training, and getting proper recovery. That's the key.
Somebody says that medium rascal runs smaller than normal, I've heard. Don't go by any of the sizes.
Normal doesn't mean it.
There's no normal.
There's
yeah.
No normal, yeah.
The
other mediums tend to be longer.
You want to go by numbers,
yeah,
right?
Each number is the number you care about.
Right. So I don't know if it's not as outrageous as some mediums in terms of the reach number.
Heck no. No, it's quite reasonable. But some of them are like there's mediums out there with reaches like 460, 470. That's getting crazy.
Yeah. And what I'm finding is interesting for my height using your formula, I should be on a 446, I think. It's a 444, the medium. And it felt great. But I have kind of the ape index thing. My arms are kind of long. So when I measure my rad,
it's short for your height.
Right. It's 424 is what the small is. 425 usually feels really good for me. So, but that also might be different. Like if I'm looking at a dirt jumper, hell yeah. If I'm looking at an enduro bike, so we'll cover all that in the video too. But don't go by those sizes. They're totally arbitrary.
They could be called flamingo elephant. It doesn't mean it's the reach number.
If you've had bikes in the past, look up all your bikes. What's that website that's got all the info?
Was it Geometry Nerd? No, but Geometry Geeks?
Geometry Geeks or Geometry Nerd. Someone put it in the comments if you know what it is.
They have a pretty good backlog of all the geos.
Incredible. So if you've had bikes in the past that felt good and some that didn't feel good, just go in there and note the reach. You can look at stack too, but I really just look at reach. I just look at reach.
And speaking of being in our 50s and training, like I was just telling Alex that I just PR'd one of our local technical climbs. I was going easy that day, and I PR'd it, and I beat my number from 9 years ago going as fast as I could.
That's wild.
It's crazy, and a lot of it has to do with just being smart about how we train. If you want more details, my websites sell programs and all that, but it's about least effective dose.
I can't speak.
I'm sorry, minimum effective dose. That's what we want
of
training.
So that you don't. So you do the minimum damage, the fastest recovery, and you get the most upside.
Exactly. And I'm here to tell you, if you're riding every day, you're not getting faster. You're having fun, and you're like treating yourself well and medicating yourself.
You might be happy.
But you might be happy. And last summer, I rode every single day because I got off my meds. This is my decision. Most people should not get off their meds. I did. And I decided to ride my bike. And I knew I was overtraining, and I knew I was losing peak performance, but I preferred not feeling terrible all day. So I rode every day.
Am I going to get on a Ripro? I did the industrial design of the Ripro. I just happened to be a
proper Ripro fan.
Partner and very much a Rip rower.
Yeah, you were. And in the beginning, and it really made a difference.
Made a huge difference. I did a lot of Rip rowing, and it made a huge difference in jumping.
And here's, of course, this won't surprise the people of you who know us too. I work out on my Rip row and do work. He does tricks on his Rip row.
Yeah, I try to. I got to just share this. I don't know if you can see this cup, but it's just pretty funny. And the story behind it, it just says Dick Ball everywhere. It was a gift that my dad got for Christmas that he was going to give to his friend whose name is Dick Ball.
Oh, there you go.
So it's one of my favorites.
Yeah. So there's so much in here, but yes, the formulas translate to kids, but don't use the multipliers. Like, from our other video on how to measure a rad, actually measure the rad for real accurately. That's the number. And then go to my site, llbmtb.com, and use the calculator, and you can input the specs for the frame and bar and stem and model the bike. And when it's perfect, buy it, no question. But the calculators the calculations, the multipliers to get to rad are all guesses. If you can actually measure the person's rad accurately, that supersedes any calculation.
I have a Japanese YouTube channel. Would it be okay with you guys that I shoot some videos in Japanese, sharing some of the knowledge you guys share here for Japanese riders? Yeah. What would be great is actually just use some clips too from our videos. Yeah, that's cool. A neat way to connect us and try to give some attribution to this guy.
Appreciate that.
That would be nice. Yeah,
it's very kind. Well, we got to talk about
let's talk about joyrides.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah,
and we'll do switchbacks at some point.
Yeah. So we did. Hopefully, a lot of you saw the last video where we met with Andy, and we thought we were doing a joyride that was going to be about ourselves and sort of
using
that shared energy to get past that big line. And it wound up being like this guy with the googly eyes on his helmet and his kids.
Yeah.
And we used all the same techniques, and it worked.
It totally worked, and he was stoked. And
he did stuff that he'd never done before. I mean, I just think the essence of the joyride is you can try to progress by focusing on progression, or you can focus on how you feel and moving yourself into the right state.
Yes. And then your progression is in order of magnitude more effective.
It happens.
It just happens. And then of course, technique's always wonderful. So Andy, the guy from the video, he came to my class the other day, a public class, which was good because it was good for him to fill in the skills. And he told me that he went on a solo ride that week and he used all the same Joyride techniques himself, like being encouraging, giving himself praise, being stoked along the way. And he said he was cleaning sections he's never cleaned. No change in skill, pure mindset. He said it was a profound difference in his riding.
And Andy had no idea. Like at some point, I'm like, Andy, would it be okay if we use you? You know, we're filming a video. We have a YouTube channel. Would it be okay? And he was like, sure.
He had no idea it would be about him.
But he didn't know how much it was going to be. It's not totally about him, but how much of it he would feature. And
but he's stoked. He says
he was stoked. And he was taken aback.
Yeah.
Because it's like, whoa, that's not what I expected.
Totally.
But he, I mean, I hope he's excited because he represents such a great spirit for the sport too, right? Sure. I love the way he shows up. And he showed up for Lee's class. He's still, his kids aren't there. He's still got those big eyeballs. And I think he's riding Hall Ranch and everything with those big eyeballs.
He's got a great approach. And he comes from the endurance side. He was a triathlete before. So a lot of those people, they'll come over, they have got the fitness, they know how to work hard. They just want to find joy. And of course, our culture is a lot more joyful than some of the endurance cultures, you know?
So a question, like, how do you do a Joyride alone?
Good. Well, I do it a lot. And you do too.
Yeah. It's the same stuff.
Yeah. Like if you do something cool, say something to yourself. Dang, that was rad. If you watch our videos, things are coming out of my mouth the whole time. There's just be stoked for yourself, you know? And if you do something cool, say something, be excited. If you see something cool coming up, be like, oh, I'm going to get that. And that gets dopamine.
And maybe you could start with, I'm not going to do a Joyride. I'm just going to pay attention to what I'm telling myself when I'm riding. Right.
That's a big one.
It's a little bit of a meditation, right? Like do a meditative ride where, I mean, you
just notice the stuff.
Just notice it. And there's a lot of trash talk. Like you
would not hang out with someone who talks to you the way you talk to yourself.
No, you would not.
I would not hang out with that guy. He would not be my friend.
No. And so we're really rough on ourselves. And you know, one of the, we didn't talk about it in the video, but we do have a no trash talk of thyself, right? As a thing that's really important.
And it's funny because it seeps out all the time.
I sometimes
like you're not so bad, but my self-deprecation is pretty consistent.
I have worked a long time on my inner dialogue.
Have you?
And it's not the bastard that it used to be, for sure.
Nice.
But some people, you're at the trail. How about this? How about just the word no? I remember being 10 years old, trying to learn guitar. Ding, 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 ding. No. Ding, 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 ding. No. Ding, ding, ding. No. And just like constant scolding. And I see people ride that way. We're
like this. Like they shake their head.
Damn it.
I know.
Don't be an idiot.
You suck.
Don't be a pussy. You know?
I've seen it. Yeah.
Constant.
At the races especially, dude.
Right.
People are so hard on themselves.
And it doesn't trigger flow. So this one is super simple. We didn't talk about it in the video either, is if you can replace all the no's with yeses. And even if you say no, then follow it up with a yes and smile. Mm-hmm. So you're working on a skill. You're like, no, yes. The more you can say yes, you'll be amazed how encouraging you can be to yourself. So that's probably when I'm just doing BMX and just goofing around, like,
because you're like,
that's probably my biggest
You're in
hack.
deep learning cycles.
Yeah.
Like you're like in it. So I'd like to share just like my experiment. So some of you know I'm coming out of a bad place in my life. I'm way better now. Thank goodness. This guy helped.
Yay!
It's great.
Woo!
Thank you. But I got in such a hole that my self-talk was insanely negative and permanent. The permanent kind of terrible self-talk. And I noticed.
Well, it can't be permanent because you're out of it.
No, it was saying permanent things, but I didn't listen to them. You understand?
I get you.
It was making decisions that would have been undoable. Not you know what I mean?
I
permanent solutions to a temporary problem.
Yeah.
So, and I noticed it, and I said, okay, I read the book, I knew the concept. So every time a bad thought crossed, I'd say, I know you're trying to help, but this is the truth. And another one, I know you're trying to protect me, but this is the truth. And then in the beginning, it was 100 times a day. It's all day long. all day, constant. Then 80, 60, 40, 30. And then over time, very few. And then you start feeling the thought come, and then you override it before it finishes. And then in about 3 months, those thoughts were more or less quiet. And now they'll come across, and they're so unusual. I'm like, the other day I had one.
You're amusing.
Yeah, I know. No, the other day the mind was doing crazy because I've been triggered by something, and it was coming up with some doozies, really good ones. like for example, my special friend's like, you're in great shape for your age, and she meant it in a good way. But what I thought
your
for my
age,
age,
yeah.
And it started going, and it was saying some terrible things. And I said, all right, bro, that was pretty good. You almost got me, but what else do you have? I'm ready. And it shut up. But that was about 3 months of like dogged work, and it made a big difference in my life. Man.
Yeah,
not just the bike, right?
Self-criticism has to be productive, not negative. I think self-criticism. I don't love that term because it sounds like it'd be very hard for it to be productive. I think being realistic is extremely important.
Yep.
But because you don't want to be delusional,
right.
But maybe just the tiniest bit delusional.
4% delusion.
Maybe no delusion, actually. You want to really understand reality and be based in reality, but I think you want to give yourself some good support. You deserve it. Yeah.
Again, like
everybody did.
If you hung out with someone who talked to you the way you talk to yourself, you wouldn't hang out.
If that voice came out of you and you were hanging with some friends and it started telling you the things that it tells you, your friends would be like, what the fuck, dude? Like, back off. Like,
yeah,
they'd punch him in the nose. Like that voice is, I don't know why it's there and why it's so overwhelmingly negative, but you can train it like you can train anything else.
It's all skill. I want to offer one more thing for my friends out there. If you're accustomed to hearing a negative voice in your head saying bad things about you, your voice saying that, ready for this, you guys? It conditions you so that when someone unhealthy is in your life and they tell you those things, that shit, actually, you believe it. You might not believe it here, but your cells believe it, and it can put you into a very, very dark, dysfunctional place. I'm saying this theoretically, of course. I really do.
Well, we don't want that for any of
you.
No,
so again, like the way you manage your thoughts is important, and of course, on the bike, it's just fun. Yeah, it's a big deal, man.
I want you to tell how you do that. So when Lee is with students and when his other teachers are with students, they do the Joyride in a slightly different way. There's only 2 rules, right?
Basically 2 rules.
2 guidelines. We don't have rules, right?
Yeah.
There's only 2.
Yeah, they're pretty much this.
Thank you. Dirty Bike TV. 1,000 of somethings. I don't know what those are, but yes.
Thank you. I almost spoke for you.
Thank you so much.
Some coffee. So like we've been like in our work, and all my coaches around the country, we're all doing this now and making it a huge part of our work. We're understanding now that I like to think we have probably the most dialed technical training out there.
For sure.
I think we do. But like I'm seeing that as maybe 10-15% of the full experience.
Right.
That just gets you in. So where before, my friend Paul says this all the time, we used to be about machines, now we're about human beings. So when we get out there, this could be a 1 day, or when we do the Moab camps, that's the best because it's 3 days intensive. And I just introduced, I said, okay, guys, like we're all here individually. Each of you is going to grow and you're going to learn and you're going to have a great experience. But since we're together, we have an opportunity to create something much greater, group flow. And the basic rules are, if you see something awesome, say something.
Yeah.
If you do something awesome, say something to you. If I do something awesome, say something to me. And when someone gives you a compliment, accept it.
You have to accept
That's it. And that's pretty much it. And like our coach Patrick, he's on the East Coast. He has been having transcendent groups. And if you just lay out that thing, like the idea that we are in a shared space, the more we encourage each other, the better it is. Like it elevates everybody in mood. The chemicals turn on. We can nerd out on that all day.
Yeah.
And you learn maybe 5x faster, and we all elevate together. So when we're in Moab on that last ride of the day, I give the rah at the top. Maybe we hug it out. Sometimes we'll say a prayer. Dedicate the day to the powers. Hell yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. And we'll just be this group of 8 people, like just like all different levels, but coalescing. And I'm on the front and I feel everybody behind me. It's not about how cool I am and how I'm not that cool, but like, no, I shouldn't have said that. I'm pretty cool, but it's not about how cool I am. It's about the group. So I have awareness for everybody behind me, and the people behind me have awareness through the group, and we're yelling back and forth to each other. And my God, like the fun, the bonding, the technical skill, and then we get
I just want to say, like, Patrick made a mention of riding for the person behind you. Not trying to just go as fast as you can, but you're riding for that person. We have always called that the wake of joy.
That's the wake of joy. And lay it down.
It's this responsibility. If you're going to go first, it's not like, can you gap? It's like, you got to lay down this like creativity and this flow and pixie dust and everything. Yeah.
And it's intoxicating.
And yeah. And so it's like, going first isn't like about being fastest. No. It's about
mood setting.
It's mood setting.
And one thing about like these classes is like, if I'm running the class, I'm absolutely in charge. Like I'm the leader of the class. But I think there might be something to be said for like some sort of, I don't know. I'm gonna know what you mean.
Yeah.
What you think. But like when we are all riding together, no one leads it because we have like a shared, like we're all exactly peers. Yeah. But I think if you have a mind for this Joyride stuff and the rest of the crew doesn't, put yourself in charge a bit, like elevate yourself to be like, hey guys, let's try this thing. I'm going to lay it down and follow me.
Be the architect.
Be the architect. Thank you. Be the chief architect.
Yeah.
Right.
I think there's nothing wrong with that. It's just leadership. Leadership is it. I'm reading this book right now, and they only say teach / learn or learn / teach. They never individually. Mm-hmm. And if you think about the worst teachers you've ever had in your life, they were teachers only, and they refused to be learning anything, and they sucked at teaching. They're terrible. Totally. And you know, in your own experience, when you're teach learning or learn teaching, it's incredible. And it's the thing that I like the most, kind of about the channel even, is we'll set out to, how often do we not learn? 0% of the time.
Yeah, we always set out to teach, but we always learn.
Always.
Every time. And like it shouldn't surprise us, but it does.
It's shocking because you think that there's nothing left. This is so, you've done this a million times.
I've been in this for freaking forever. And I'm still like, it's just, I feel like I got my black belt, and now I'm cycling through getting like levels of black belt. I'm finally ready to learn now.
You have those epiphanies
all day long, every day. It's so rad.
You do have the best, like you have really technical know-how. You've got that, right? But those are the seeds. Those are the techniques. If the soil's not right, you're just throwing them on hard earth, right?
Mindset.
And so the it's like tilling that soil is really what the flow is about and what the Joyride is about. Yes. And then as you drop that technical stuff, that's why at the end of these rides, I saw that last ride where I don't know what that ledge was. It was like a 4-foot ledge you guys were going up.
Crazy.
And
it was like the ledge at the very, the ledge at the very end of the whole enchilada, a Porcupine Rim. We were riding up that thing.
But everyone in the class rode up it.
Crazy.
And people who were at all, like you said, all different levels.
Mind space, encouragement, empowerment.
They just flew up it.
Incredible.
They just flew up it.
It's so cool. And what I'm learning as a teacher boy is I have less of an agenda. And so what I've decided now is instead of like teaching everything you need to know, what I do is I take you through flow cycles. And I think it's helpful for you to know that there's a cycle, and I'm going to miss some steps. So basically, there's the loading process of learning the thing. There's the struggle process. I know you go through this on the BMX bike. It's like your first 500 attempts. It's like, dang it, darn it. Yes, it's coming. Yes. And then you kind of get to the point where you're like,
$4.99. Yes.
And then you get to the point where you kind of release it. Maybe you sleep on it, and then you hit flow. Mm-hmm. Bam. But you have to pass through every stage. And after flow, get ready, friends. It's a wave. If the wave goes this high, it is going to go equally low. Mm. Be ready for that, but don't judge it. Maybe you go yang yin, blue red. It's not good or bad. It's just like that's the reciprocation. That's the recovery phase. And you come out of it and you start again. So what I do in class now is I'm way more interested in people achieving flow and having a portable skill they can take home. So I read people better and better. And I go, okay, Alex, today we're not doing all 3 cornering things. We're going to do 2. And we're going to drill it to the point where you actually have joy and take it home.
Thank you. 3 was too much.
3 is too much for this guy.
Cognitive load.
Yeah.
What book? I'll tell you later.
Oh, yeah. Because if we tell you the name of the book, you're going to stop watching us because it's so crazy.
It's a weird book. I'll say it. Anything that I'm doing, I'm willing to be transparent about. Right. But it's a book a friend of mine turned me on to, and it's called the raw contact. And it's supposedly a contact with an alien intelligence that happened in the 80s. And this woman was channeling this alien. Whether it's a piece of fiction, oh yeah, there it is. Whether it may be a piece of fiction, it may be absolutely true. I've been listening to it, and it is a blast. Either way, you can take it either way. You're like, this is just the greatest piece of sci-fi ever.
Right.
Or maybe there's some truth, or maybe it's a little bit of both. I obviously have no idea.
It's got some wisdom though, man.
But it's got
teach
wisdom.
Learn thing is cool.
It's got yeah, exactly. Like just that alone, I'll take that. You know, but there's more. And I'll just say it's a little out there, but I'm a little out there. It's fine. What would be your weapon? 26 full DH or a modern 29 for what? You're about to enter NASA.
I would ride.
I'd ride the new 29.
I'd ride my trail bike because that's my daily driver. Yep. I've even gone to the Sea Otter race.
Well, you ride a 29 Enduro.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And so I went to the Sea Otter slalom, you know, and I'm like, I have a slalom bike. I look at the track. I'm like, you know, I ride my 29er every day. I'm gonna race that thing. That's the tool. The tool you know is the right tool. That's always the right tool. Yeah.
Well, and also, I mean, in the last 5 years, if you look at 29 enduro bikes or even 29 trail bikes now, they're what enduro bikes were 2 years ago. I can't believe we've gotten to raw contact.
Pretty funny. Raw contact. But
this is a mountain bike channel, right?
Yeah, no, right. But so like I raced, I did a cool cross country race a few weeks ago, and my buddy loaned me his XC race bike, World Cup guy. It was a 100 mil travel, 70-degree, you know, XC bike, and the thing was sick. Oh my God, it was so fun and fast downhill, and it's better than the downhill bikes I used to race.
Yeah,
way better. More travel, better travel, everything.
They're so good.
They're so good. Yeah, they're all good.
We got a question. There might be some questions in here, but we got a question on the community page from Mario that was asking. He's got a fear of stairs, and he crashed. He broke his collarbone, and since then he hasn't been comfortable, even with sounds like 2-3 stairs. Like it just freaks him out. He'll ride downhill, sketchy, loose stuff. On his cross country bike, but sets of stairs completely freeze him up. He's, you know, and his question is like, how do I overcome that? How do I move past that?
That's kind of my job, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'll offer these advices. First of all, like if you crashed on stairs, your body position was 100% not where it had to be. So focus on like watch our video on a low hinge. You know, like the bike is going to go down the stairs like this. You have to be low enough to angle the bike below you and stay on your feet. Understand the bars are going to do this. Your feet are going to do a little of that. When you're in the middle, the bike will move. You won't. My advice to do is to go find one stair, over or a curb, over. If you can find 2, over and over. At Valmont, we've got stairs. The good thing is they don't have rails, so you can come at an angle and do 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, and then go do the whole set. So anything you can do to progress in, because if you've crashed, it's not about logic at this point, because I'm sure you understand the concepts of how to ride stairs. It's trail trauma.
And you can take this with anything. If you haven't crashed on stairs, but you crashed on something else and you're working, you know, this applies to anything when you want to come back on a type of feature.
Yep. Yeah. Like you make sure you're dialed in, start as low as you can, where there's no apprehension. You should be bored, honestly.
So you should, and I would say that's exactly what I told him, because I typed an answer.
That's your phrase. I stole that from you. Be bored.
That? To be bored. But I typed the like do a small version over and over and over till you get bored. But also what I try to do is I try to like sing, tell jokes, like smile, laugh,
whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, all that stuff. It gets you out of your head.
Well, I think you're replacing a bad memory that's really burnt in. And so to replace that, you've got to like put in some fun, right? So you basically have to train your brain
to be stoked. I love stairs.
Like, I love stairs.
Like when we're doing skinnies. I love skinnies.
I love skinny. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and by the way, like the old pattern's never going to go anywhere. It's permanent, dude. The best you can hope for is to supersede it with a more functional.
You're riding over it.
You're over it. And by the way, like anytime we get stressed, we will always refer to the original patterns. Always. That's why it's really important on the bike to manage your stress so you don't turn to the stupid point.
Thank you, E-Adventures.
Thank you, E-Adventures. Very,
appreciate
very nice. Thank you.
Tips on weight loss. Weightless, not weightless.
I'm down almost 20 pounds.
Wow.
From 2 years ago.
Well, and you were like a heavy kid too, right?
Yeah, I was a heavy kid, Weight Watchers kid. But like, for me, it's just been about being very consistent with activity and not dieting. I used to, as a kid, I was fat. My mom was obese too. We go on these diets. It was just such a cycle, destructive cycle of going on these crazy diets where you're suffering all the time, losing weight, gaining more back, feeling worse. And I remember going from size 36 jeans to 38, becoming more disgusted. So at this point, like super consistent with your activity level and reasonable with your diet. Like they always say, eat all the different colors, enjoy yourself, do work. And one thing that a lot of people don't do is they don't do heavy intensity.
I don't know.
Heavy intensity is where you burn more calories.
I'll just throw it out there. This is my experience, because I don't want to give any advice along these lines. But my experience is I don't eat meat, and when I stopped eating meat, I stopped being hungry. So I don't know why, but I used to be really hungry. And I remember feeling like, man, it's not lunchtime yet. I'm starving. Man, it's not dinner. Man, I'm starving. Like that sort of thinking of like, I'm starving. I can't wait to eat. I don't have that at all.
You know what's weird? Because I spent a lot of days with you. You do not eat very much.
I don't eat
like during the day. Like I'll be going through snack after snack after snack.
I mean, I'm kind of like that fasting thing, but just not as a fad. Just this is how I drink coffees until evening and then I eat. So stupid probably, but the vegetarian aspect of it, there was a marked change because I would just be hungry all the time. So I don't know, that it's worth a try.
Yeah. All this, right?
Yeah. Stairs problem when you get to the bottom and the angle changes back to flat. What do you do about that?
This is important. Ready? You guys ready? When you're on the top,
grab a lot of front brake.
Oh my God.
No.
So when you're on, like, so your center of mass should always be over the bottom bracket. That's job one. So you're on flat ground at the top of the stairs, your bike's level. You're gonna push the bars into the stairs. And when you get to the bottom, the bars are going to come back at you. So you pull them back to you. That's it. You have to reconcile every angle change. And one of the big mistakes people make on drops on trail is they get too far back on the drop. And when they land, they're still too far back. And the bike will either shoot out from under them. Like Bender used to crash like that all the time. Or more commonly, you try to go into a turn and the front end washes out.
You see that on the Friday fails where people are way back as they're G'ing out.
Yeah, and then the bike just is uncontrollable.
Yeah.
Every angle that happens, you have to be in charge of. And this one guy has a sick bike, and he has bike lust for other bikes. If you have a bike that fits you and it brings you deep flow, that's the bike for you.
But I can't help be obsessed with new bikes. How do I just love my bike? That's a great question.
Here's an opinion.
Yeah.
Is that like a bike is a machine. And it's full of pieces and parts, and they're easily upgraded, and there's always cooler ones. But when you use your bicycle to achieve deep flow states, especially with your friends, it's no longer a machine. It's like a tool for joy. And then you love that damn thing. You never want to get rid of it.
I have another theory.
I love
just theories. Another way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
If you are not progressing, sometimes you look to the bike for progression. And so if I had this suspension, I'd be able to do this thing, or,
totally.
and so one thing is to like start slicing your progression really thin, like find a little something that you can get super stoked on and take that bike and achieve that slice and slice here, slice there. And pretty soon you'll fall in love with that bike.
That's a beautiful thing. Yeah. We always say like if you're not having success, you're not cutting the experience thinly enough. You can always make a goal tiny enough that you can achieve it.
And you can purchase, there are things you can purchase and there are things you can't purchase. You can't purchase skills. You can't purchase fitness. You got to put in the time to have either one of those.
Yeah, and you can't purchase that beautiful group vibe that we've been doing.
And no, you can't purchase
that either.
But I'm not against purchasing really cool bikes. At the same time, like, I don't want to say.
Well, if you have the means, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
And so people are like, well, what level bike should I have? It's like, have the best bike you can afford to have. Is blingy and cool.
If it gives you happiness,
whatever gives you
If you
joy.
like matchy-match parts, do it, man.
Totally.
Like, heck yeah.
And never have this thought. Yeah, this bike's too good for me. Like, that is just a waste. Get the bike. You deserve it. One, you could afford it. So you worked your ass off somehow.
So you do deserve it.
So you deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You sacrificed a portion of your life so that you could afford that bike.
Fair enough.
What else can you do?
Yeah, you went to dental school, dude. Have that Yeti.
Right. Yeah. That was a little dentist bike joke
That
right
was,
there. That was very well done.
In a gentle way.
Very well done. Very
Yeah.
well done. Yeah, I love my bike. I see other people. Damn, that's sweet. Nothing wrong with that at all. Like, and like, just being a fan of bikes. I mean, you probably have this too. Just books on just cool bikes through the ages.
Just cool stuff,
right?
It's just cool stuff.
Yeah, and it's I think there's something. It's probably the same thing, but I think there's something a little healthier about being geeking out on bikes than Ferraris.
I think so.
Maybe not. One of the things I loved about Boulder is I moved here, and I moved from Miami, where it's all the bling, right? It's what car, house, boat, right? And you move to Boulder, and I had an old Copy, a road bike, an Italian hand-built road bike that was my dad's, and I was restoring it. And there was something wrong with it. And I rode it to the local bike shop, and they put it up on the rack. And this 18-year-old kid, and as I'm riding, I'm seeing people rubbernecking, you know?
In this town, they're like, whoa!
Yeah, like what you would get with a Ferrari in Miami, you get with a Copy.
Like a classic steel road bike in Boulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's on the rack, and this 18-year-old kid walks up, and he's like, I would kill for that bike. I was like, I'm in the right place.
That's so good.
I'm in the right place.
So someone asked a good question.
How
tall are we and what size frames do we ride? I'll tell you that I'm 5'8" exactly, and I ride frames with reaches between 415 and 425 millimeters. That's the number that works for me. The letter or number size is completely erroneous.
I'm 4'9". No, I'm 5'9". I'm 4'9". And I ride, I think, about 225 to 235 is probably my sweet spot.
425.
Sorry, I always put it 425 to 435.
Yeah. So the reach is where it's at, because that's that's the most important determinant of the rep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Loose, steep trails. Any tips? You got tips for loose?
Watch
our. I need to redo our video on braking hard under like with pressure, creating downforce, because the audio got really jacked, and I loaded it, and you don't really want to take them down.
We should do it on steep trails though. Go up to left hand or something.
Yeah.
Show how it applies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that video, just in terms of like how to brake.
That's how you brake. And so watch that video, and you gotta practice this on flat pavement. I'm sorry. If you're a human being, practice it on flat pavement until you're bored. Practice it on flat dirt until you're bored. Practice it on slanted pavement until you're bored. Practice it on slanted dirt till you're bored, and so on and so on.
Yeah.
And when you're on a steep trail, there's so much going on that your braking has to be very carefully placed, always heavy, and then you can cycle on and off and start doing
the cycles of heavy braking are way shorter than you might think.
The heavier they are, the shorter they have to be.
They're very short.
Yeah, it might just be like, which is handy because if it's a proper downhill with turns and rocks, you're off the brake in the turn. You go slow down, turn. Slow down, rock, slow down, turn, slow down, rock. And you just kind of index your way down there.
And I feel like you're braking, when I feel like I'm riding well, my braking becomes a wave.
Yeah.
Just like the riding, totally. When you're riding well, it becomes a wave.
Totally. And the braking is a heavy cycle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is a good segue to, I promised people we would solve the flats versus clips pedal controversy.
Of course, we ride exactly different pedals.
Right now.
The two of us.
Yes.
And mine are better than yours.
Yeah.
In every way. Is that right?
Solved? So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Clips are better.
Yeah.
I think there's a really simple way to look at this, which is, and you've said it, I do ride flats. I've ridden clips. I like them both, but I ride flats right now.
I go back and forth too.
Yeah. If you are concerned with speed and that's your number one concern, you should clip in. If you look at any discipline where
a racing discipline,
whether it's BMX racing or downhill racing or cross country, They're clipped in.
Unless you're Sam Hill, but he's an oddball.
But I mean, there's 2 guys on the downhill circuit that are on flats at this point.
Yeah,
so
but like they're all clipped in.
Yeah.
And then, but if you want to have fun and become the most skilled rider you can be,
steezy,
then flats, right?
Right.
But I was jumping.
But that's it. Like
I was jumping that.
I don't think people should debate it. Like when they get into like which are better, it's silly. It's like it really just depends on what you want to get out of your riding.
Totally.
But if you're all about whips and tricks and you're on clips, probably not the right choice. I mean, I would say that. But if you're wanting to go really fast in a racing environment, you should play with clips. But you already know that because all your heroes are clipped in.
Right. And I ran flats forever and ever, and I decided I was going to race enduro. So then I went ahead and switched back to clips, so I'd be more comfortable with that, and I just never got back to racing. But today I was on flats. I was riding. I was on that Polygon slopestyle bike at the bike park doing the dirt jumps. It felt great. I was on flats, and I ride them fine, but I'm not used to them.
Yeah.
So I would have to like spend more time to get more expressive.
So maybe the only other point to make about flats, and I'm just curious what you think of this. I'm not sure. My sense is if I was serious about riding, I would occasionally ride flats if I was a clipped-in rider and racer.
For the skill.
Just to make sure I was moving the bike in the right ways and not taking advantage of the fact that I'm clipped in.
100%. So check it out. There's no question that if you want to learn how to handle the bike and get proper foot mechanics for shredding and pumping and rowing, anti-rowing, flats help. But here's another fact, and I've seen this with lots of my clients. Like, let's say your power is this much clipped in, okay? You can go to flats and it'll do this temporarily. And if you practice the techniques that we teach, like the actual pedaling techniques, your power will go higher than where it was clipped in. And then you put flats back on and you see another bump. For me, it was a 10% bump. For normal human beings who don't pedal as much as I do, 20, 30% bumps. And for pros I work with, they're seeing 8. So we're talking about seasoned pros getting 8% bumps at FTP with no other change in the training, just by learning the skill of riding flat pedals and clipping back in. So to his point, I generally agree with him. If you want to get really good, do both.
There was someone who asked a question about feeling like they're levitating above the bike. They just got clips, and when they're clipped in, they don't, or when they're on the pedals now with flats, they just got flats. I said that 100% backwards. Yeah, I just wanted you to speak to that because I answered it online, but it's basically the row and the anti-row.
Yeah, you're just too stiff. Like the simplest answer is whatever the trail does, your pedals do, your feet have to do the same thing. And if the pedal comes up to you and you have a stiff leg, it's going to bounce off. That's the simple answer. The Kung Fu answer looks like this. When you're when we ride, we're always in a row anti-row cycle at all times, at least the tiny one. In a row cycle, you're anchoring your hands backward and you're very slightly like pushing your feet forward, very slightly with your heels down to lock yourself to the bike. And the anti-row is the opposite. So when you develop that, you're not a hunk of meat on a bicycle. You are engaged inside the bicycle. And even if your timing isn't very good in pumping, you're locked into the bike and you're good. That's like the full answer. And for me, like the rip row is what made it completely seamless for me.
Yeah. Something, if you're bouncing on your pedals, you need to work on, I would say, go to a pump track if you can.
Cycle.
And get those cycles. Somebody said that we never had a Huffy. I don't know. I did have a Huffy.
I did.
You did? Okay, we both
I had a
Huffies.
Schwinn Stingray, and I tricked that thing out like a penny at a time for my paper route, from mowing lawns. And my dad always said, don't leave that thing outside. I'm like, whatever.
It got rid.
And the second I finalized the BMX conversion, bam, gone. And so dad taught me a lesson because it was my fault. And so the only thing I could afford was a Huffy. So I rode a Huffy.
I had a Raleigh chopper because it was $74 and the Stingray was $86. And I'd been saving and I went to Green Spot Bikes. And I was like, I can't get the Stingray.
So I pulled it another month.
I couldn't take it. Yeah,
I was the same boat. I'm like, I need a bike now. Because if you're a kid, especially growing up in that era, like your bike is your life.
Here's how much I love that Raleigh. Like if you guys have seen Raleigh choppers, right? They had that long seat and then the sissy bar, right? I would put the kickstand down. I would lay back on the seat with my feet up on the bars, and I would take naps on my bike, just chilling.
That's cool.
Love that
That's
thing.
cool, man. Easy rider.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Huffy.
We have 5 minutes.
5 minutes. All right. What should we cover in the last 5 minutes?
Yeah. So Travis mentioned that like when he does the row anti-row, yeah, it causes you to go heavy light. It's totally true.
Huffy Pro Thunder. My Huffy, I don't know why I had a Huffy. It was sort of like a Huffy cruiser, 20-inch. And my grandfather and I tried to convert it into a BMX bike when BMX was first happening. And we bought the kit with the bars, the BMX bars and everything. And it was shit, jumping in, the bars going all the way down and no way to tighten it. And then I saved up and I got a stroker. Yeah. My first BMX bike.
So here's
it
a
probably
question.
Weighed 85 pounds.
Here's a question. If you change the handlebar width, do you have to change your stem length? Theoretically, yes. However, if you change the bar width just like a reasonable amount, the trigonometry is so slight that I wouldn't sweat it. If you really want to like really dig in on all the trigonometry, it's all on the website, the rider bike calculator, but not really. Now, if you're going to go like from like a 800 mil bar to a 700 mil bar, yeah, but that's not the kind of changes most people make.
Yeah. Someone said that this talk was monumental for them.
Wow.
That's excellent.
Beautiful. Thank you.
There's someone commented, Bear Jew MTB in New York wants to ride with us.
Good.
Are you getting to New York?
I will be, but in the meantime, Patrick Carey,
because let's talk about
is my coach there.
Okay.
And he's the guy, and go see him. Patrick Carey, LeeLikesBikes.com. That guy's a spirit warrior. He's the future of this whole endeavor. He's amazing.
Nice. Yeah.
He's amazing.
So yeah, where else are you going to be? Do you know? Like stops, concert tour?
Yeah, concert tour. I'll be in NorCal in September and passing through Salt Lake City and through Reno area. So I'll hit some spots there. And then this winter will be in October. We have 2 Moab camps. And then I'll go out to the East Coast to teach with Patrick. If you go to LeeLikesBikes.com and get on the newsletter list, you'll get notes about all this stuff. But we got coaches, more and more coaches, and we travel, so we cover it. And everybody who works with me is amazing. These are 1 in a million human beings and coaches. And if you get with any of them, you're gonna be stoked.
I will confirm that. Yeah.
You've seen
Patrick Carey is a cool dude, someone says. But yeah, I went to one of the Moab days.
Oh yeah, you saw that.
And yeah, the guys you have working with you, they're just amazing.
Yeah, I'm really fortunate.
So positive, so cool, so good.
So good.
Yeah.
And like these are people with like advanced degrees. Like these are not just washed up bike nerds.
Well, that's
these are proper like smart, caring teacher type people who happen to be good at bikes.
Right. Biologists and things like that.
Yeah, like EDM, PhDs, those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bikes they just attract good people.
Yes.
And people who maybe could do something and acquire like great wealth doing something else, but they want to be around bikes. And back when I would work with bike companies, I was always amazed at the average IQ in a bike company versus, potato chip company. It was crazy.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because we're it's like Boulder. People
Big
are here
difference.
because they want to be here.
Yeah.
So it creates people who care.
Thank you.
Whoa.
$100?
Holy cow.
George.
Thank
you so much.
No, stoked to you.
Wow.
That was very generous.
We're going to have to do something nice for George. What can we do for you, George? I'm feeling indebted right now.
Right.
What can we do?
Francis wants to know handlebar rides for easy front lift. It's all about the rad, number one, and you'd want a high rad angle. Handlebar rise is part of the math. It's all.
I'm going to cry with this, George.
Yeah, this is very kind. That was a beautiful exchange of energy. Yeah, thank you, George.
Beautiful.
And Andrew, thank you super much. Stephen Hawking, nice. That guy probably ripped. He knows the science. Yeah, so hardtail rider, there's some biomechanical studies behind these numbers. I did not just pull them out of my butt. I work with some people, some actual doctor type people, PhD people in Boulder. We did some EMG studies. Those numbers are actually they make sense.
Someone was asking, you could, how to send, if you DM me on Instagram or Lee, you could send something to us. I'll give you the address.
Totally.
Yeah. That would be fun. All right.
Wow. Dude, an hour passes fast.
It passes fast. Oh, one last really quick question somebody asked, which I thought was interesting, is riding in the dark.
So
riding in the dark with lights or riding in the dark without lights? I was manualing the other day at dusk, and I was kind of stoked on it because it was taking away one of my major senses, and especially of balance. You know that sight is huge.
Yep.
So it was, everything else was like firing like mad because the light was so flat. I couldn't really tell where I was.
It's kind of cool flow trick. Yeah, it's a good one. And then riding with lights is cool, especially if you run the light on your helmet. There's no shadows, so it flattens everything. So you can only see what you need to see, and it's flattened, and you can ride stuff that you wouldn't ride during the day.
That's what people say.
Yeah,
people say that I'm that at night I ride stuff that I'd be scared to do during the day.
Exactly. You're not aware of the stuff on the side of the trail so much. And especially if you're riding with fast people, and kind of there's like that sense of like, if I get alone out here, there's a mountain lion. So you really want to stay with the group. It's kind of cool.
Cheers for the talk. All right. I think we're going to wrap it up. This was a lot of fun. Apologies for starting late. We'll figure that out. I don't know what was going wrong with the other stream, but apologies for that. We got a episode coming on Thursday.
Yeah, your bike choice.
That's my bike choice, and
that's gonna blow the internet up, man. It's a big deal.
The bike that I don't choose, we're gonna raffle off for Grow Foundation and building that pump track in Los Angeles. So that's a great cause, and you guys, if you can get behind that, and obviously, help spread the word about that bike, because it'd be amazing to raise. Are we keeping you? It'd be amazing to raise as much money as possible, because it's a great organization. In LA, Los Angeles, no pump track. What the heck?
George, by the way, I do go to SoCal. I will be there. I usually teach out at Vail Lake Resort, which they just built a new bike park. It's great. And go to, get on the newsletter and you'll find out when I'm there.
Yeah, if you go to leelikesbikes.com, you can find out what's going on with Lee. With me, it's the channel. You can see what's up on the channel and any of the I have 2 Instagrams, Bo Gusky and Bro Gusky. You are
Lee Likes Bikes
official.
Yep.
So you can find Lee on Instagram too, see what he's up to there.
Yep.
And this was great.
What a community we have.
Really beautiful. Yeah.
It's a beauty. It's a blessing. It's really nice.
Should we give it a little Namastoke?
Stoke.
I can't do that. Nama. Can I do it?
Nama.
Shaka. So you're going to a shaka.
I'm going. Yeah, I used to do this.
Stoke.
But I think that this is more Stoke.
Yeah, no, it's devil hand.
Yeah, Stoke. Nama. Stoke. Like the shirt.
Yeah.
A little too ornate.
Nama.
For my taste.
Stoke. No,
Nama
that
Stoke.
was the wrong one.
We'll get this figured out.
Love you guys.
We'll see you guys.
Yeah. Be good.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good job, dude.